So I'll start off with the first question. Does anybody know how many harvests a farmer has on average from when they fully take over the ground until they pass it on to the next generation? Just a rough number. That's about, yes, maybe, depends on the family, right? But about 20 is what some people say, right? They say about 20 harvests is what they have. And people say, well, what's he talking about? What are you talking about the harvest, right? So I know every family is different on how that goes. But the reason I talk about it is, at my age, I have about 20 years left to have an impact on people and helping people. And I'm a small town kid, right? I'm like a lot of you. And so I believe we're all put here to help people out, right? We're all here for a reason. We all have been given God-given skills and talents. And that's what we should be doing, right? I had a friend, this is just a side story, but I have a friend, he was a welder. And every year, he got the award for producing the most things that were welding out of that shop, right? Every year he got that. And somebody asked him the question, he said, well, you know, every year you're like the best welder. Why is that? How do you get this every year? And his answer was amazing, I thought. He goes, I don't weld for me. I don't weld for the company. He goes, I weld for the people that I know need these products as they go out the door. And I thought, what a great perspective. And so that kind of brings me back to the 20 years. So I've seen the positive impact that just in my organization that we can have on families. And that's why I'm pretty passionate about it. I have 20 years left. If a farmer takes 1 year, this is a terrible farmer that year, he's only got 19, right? So if I take 1 year and it's just terrible, I don't do anything, I only have 19 years left. So that's why I get excited about this stuff. Yeah, I know it's insurance. Yes, I know it's benefits. But you guys all know it's more than that. It's families what you're dealing with. So I just put this quote up here because it's one of my favorite. If you laugh, you think, and you cry, that's a heck of a day. And I really think that's so true, right? So why do I do what I do? You know, you guys can answer why you do what you do. But they're crying out loud, you guys are in HR. You can do something else, right? You aren't doing it for the patient. There's no reason behind it. I know that. Why do I do what I do? Let's face it, families are hurting today, right? Expensive, frustrating, hopeless. That's how a lot of your employees feel about their benefits today. For some families in the United States, or in Nebraska, 20% of their paycheck is going towards their premiums and deductibles. People are living paycheck to paycheck. 80% of Americans have less than $1,000 in a savings account today. Where are your deductibles at, right? I mean, they can't write a check for that. So that's why I do what I do, is any way we can help those families. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about how you can make a difference. We're going to talk about some strategies. We're going to talk about finding the right consultant, that has an entire toolbox of tested strategies that they can help you with. We're going to talk about perseverance, because I'll tell you what, it's exhausting sometimes, isn't it? You hear the same story, you get the same thing over and over, and it can be exhausting. So we'll talk about perseverance. And I'm going to start off with a story about perseverance, but on their history as stories of human beings that have persevered and created great change. So I had never heard this story, and when I saw this story about Abraham Lincoln, I clung on to it. It must be my small town Nebraska education. Maybe you've heard this story before, but this is the greatest story of perseverance that I've read. So I'm just going to read it out loud because I know it's small. So Abraham Lincoln's life, he was born into poverty. In 1816, he was forced to leave his home. As a child, he had to go to work to help support his family. In 1818, his mother died. 1831, he failed in business. 1832, he ran for the House of Representatives and lost. In 1832, he lost his job. 1833, he borrowed money from a friend to start a business. That business failed. He spent the next 17 years paying that off. 1834, he ran for legislature and lost. 1835, he got engaged. His fiancee died. 1836, he had a nervous breakdown. He spent 6 months in the hospital. 1838, he ran for Speaker of Legislature in his home state, lost. 1840, sought to be elector in his home state, lost. 1843, ran for Congress, lost. 1846, he ran for Congress and won, but 1848, he ran for re-election and lost. 1849, ran for land officer in his home state, he was rejected. 1854, he ran for U.S. Senate, lost. 1856, he ran for vice president in his own party convention. He received less than 100 votes, lost. 1858, he ran for U.S. Senate, lost. 1860, he ran for president and won. And we can say, he's obviously one of the better presidents we've had in history, right? So that is just an incredible story to me of just persevering and pushing on. And this is why when we run into those roadblocks, we do it, right? Your employees they're getting these bills, medical bills. That's the #1 reason for bankruptcy in the United States, right? And just helping those employees. And here's the problem. So it's hard to read, but in 1999, clear on the left, you can see on there, it's inflation, workers' earnings, family premiums, worker contributions. So that's over here in 99. I have the data to 2017. So the bottom line is inflation, and this is worker earnings. So this went up a little bit, but in here are the family premiums and worker contributions that are out of pockets. Look at that gap spread from 99 to now. Just what that's done. Employees are just paying more. So that's the problem. And I love Albert Einstein. He said, if I have 1 hour to solve a problem, I'd spend 55 minutes trying to figure out the right question. And that's true, right? So what's the right question? Here's an example of asking the right question. In a Monday morning meeting, the CEO of Motorola said, why can't I call someone no matter where they are? That was the right question. And look what, you guys, everyone's a pastor phone, I'm sure you all have it right now, right? It's an amazing question. So I go in benefits, what's the right question? This is the question I do. Can the mindset of health insurance be changed? And what do I mean by that? I'm going to give you an example. Here comes my mindset example that, I got to tell you, it bothered me. It still bothered me, and you guys heard me talk about it. I love Dr. Evil. I presented in front of a board here recently, and their health insurance budget was $1 million a year. Okay, there was 3 other consultants presenting that day, and I got to tell you, my ideas were the best, obviously, but the other 2 consultants had great ideas as well. We all had great ideas. We all presented. You know how many questions the board asked each one of us as we finished? That. At the end, they had an opportunity to ask. They had us all 3 there. They could have asked any of us any questions. They asked 0 questions. Then it came, we all stayed in the board meeting. Everyone stayed there, hung out. Nobody got up and left, so I sat and listened to the whole board meeting. It was riveting, as you guys know. It was an amazing meeting to sit through. The next item was a guy brought in the proposals they received for a tractor they were going to purchase. The board asked question after question after question after question about the tractor. They asked about the horsepower. They asked about the transmission. They asked about the warranty. They asked about the tires. They asked about all these different questions over and over. They asked about the GPS navigation system in the tractor and the warranty on that. It was detailed questions. It's the tractor they were looking at, actually they were looking to use $150,000 to $200,000, one-time expense. And they asked tons of questions about that tractor that would last for a long time, 10 years, right, before they really had any troubles. So $150,000 for a 10-year purchase. They asked 45 minutes of questions. They're spending $1 million a year on health insurance, and they didn't ask a question. Now, why is that? Some would say they don't know what question to ask. I don't think it's that. I think it's their mindset is, we can't do anything about it. It doesn't matter. It's $1 million. Let's just spend $1 million. That's where we're at today. think it was in the Nick statement. Yeah, but we're just told there's nothing we can do about it, right? I disagree. But I'm going to share another story with you. I met this guy once, and this was the most moving, one of the more moving experiences I've had is meeting this guy. And I'm going to show you this video. I apologize if you're not excited about sports comeback stories or sports stories, but I want to share this video with you because it means a lot to me.
Michigan offensive lineman Elliot Wheeler grew up in Wauseon, Ohio, a small town about an hour from Toledo. Like an overwhelming number of Ohioans, the Wheelers were passionate Ohio State fans. That all changed, though, when Elliot accepted a scholarship to play football at the University of Michigan. Elliot's father, Dave, and brother, Brock, instantly adopted the Maize and Blue. And as you're about to find out, at Brock's time of greatest need, the Maize and Blue also adopted him.
All right, John, let's go.
I just remember praying to God that someday I'll walk again. The major hurdle for me was just if I tell people I'm going to walk and then I don't, what are they going to think of me?
I go to the hospital and saw Brock. Right again. Nice job, Brock. Nice job, Brock. I like his fight. I like the fact that he didn't take it with a negative brain and say this isn't going to happen for me. There it is. There it is. Not changed. Stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it. Take it again. Take it again. Come on, Brock. Easy. Come on, easy, Brock. Come on. Come on. You got it. Just keep that. Just keep that. Pick it up there, baby.
I remember Mike Barr was telling me, whenever I thought I was ready, I could come over there and work out with those guys. Then we'll do some real work.
We had a pretty simple conversation. You want to walk or not? You let me know when you're ready. We'll get after it. Excellent. Get on, killer. Time's coming. Oh, pretty good now. You get a good workout then? Yeah, I didn't even know you were. I forgot you were coming out. I think you said you were being on later, but I wasn't sure exactly how quick or what exactly it was going to be, but I knew when Mike got his hands on them, it was going to produce results. They say they can get you walking, they definitely will do it. I don't know that. For them to open up their arms to my brother is just something I can't put into words. When you get a guy like that, you can spark him, you can drive him, you can get him to be fired up, you can get him to believe he can do things because you believe. He'll do it. He'll do it.
I saw his determination, and particularly when he started rehabbing up here and working with our strength and conditioning staff. I said, you know what? I'm going to give you a challenge to lead our team out of that tunnel.
I think he had a 1% chance of ever walking again. We took that as a challenge. To see someone in need, they give them the gifts to be able to help that person. That's the first thing. We all jumped at him.
I had 2 vertebrae shattered. My back was broken. The surgeon came in my room to talk to me about it. I remember really vividly Mike telling me that I'd never walk again.
When they told him that, he just kind of looked at him kind of like, well, I'm not interested in that part. I know I'm going to walk again.
I couldn't really think of a much greater honor than to lead the team out. When I'm out in front of 115,000 people, they're all yelling. I can't imagine what I'm going to feel like then.
Sad nightmares, dream about, where I'll be in the next few months.
Most vivid, memory I have is that when we were, just 5 minutes from home and seeing that car approaching that stop sign so fast.
struggling to get out of the car. I realized that my legs weren't pushing at all. This volunteer came up on the car. He asked me if the man next to me was breathing. I've had so many great moments where I finally accomplished something like walking with the cane, and my dad, he's the first person I want to call. And I have to stop myself, but that's really when I think about what he's probably thinking about all this. That's one of the main things that keeps me working hard, because I know how hard he worked every day to take care of us.
He's been through several years of suffrage with a family. They've been through some situations people shouldn't have to go through. On that moment, he's going to overcome a situation that he was placed in. He didn't choose to be in. He made no mistake to make it happen. He did nothing wrong.
3 steps. Let's go.
Nice, dude. Yeah. He's going to show that family that there's hope in any situation.
And brothers Elliott and Blake. Please welcome.
There's a part of that video. Well, I'll stay with Roxas first. Rox says, don't settle for what others tell you is possible, strive for what some say is impossible. And there's a part of that video that it's not even a big part, but I love when the bald guy that's helping him says, when you've been given the ability to help somebody, that's what you do. Now, I love that. That's one of my favorite. I've seen that video a million times, and it gets me every time. Part where he talks about his dad. I mean, like, I lost my dad, but it means that which you could call him, those kind of things. It's true. But probably my biggest frustration is the stress that it put on my mom when they were going to doctors. And just, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, is giving your employees access to something that can help them navigate this crazy system called health care. So here's another part of the problem that we talked about is there's the carrier stock prices when ACA was enacted in 2010. There's where they are. Well, it's a little bit old, but here's where they were at exactly a month ago. So March 23rd, 2010, when ACA went into effect, there's 3 of the carrier stock prices. You can see where they're at today. Well, sorry, not today, a month ago exactly. A month ago today. So they've done all right. So if these prices are where they were, these prices are where they are today. Why is that? People wonder why they've come out so well. A little bit of that is, and this goes back to the conversation of the rising cost of healthcare. It's the medical loss ratio. Does anyone remember in 2010 or 2011, getting a medical loss ratio check back for your health insurance? What the medical loss ratio said is the insurance company, depending on what state, has to spend 80 or 85 cents on every dollar they take in on claims. If they don't do that, they have to refund the money back out. So in 2011, there were a few checks sent out. You haven't seen any cents in it yet, right? So where I'm going with this is if we believe as a whole that carriers are going to contain costs, and this isn't a knock on the carriers. When I say this is not political, this is just black and white. It is what it is. It's how I look at a lot of things, right? They have no incentive to contain costs, correct? Because as claims go up, and they make 15 to 20% on every dollar they bring in, as claims continue to go up, they continue to make more money, is what it is, right? It's the reality of it. And I'm not saying they're evil, anything bad about them at all, so don't misunderstand that. So let's go to Peter Drucker. Peter Drucker says, the greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence, it is to act with yesterday's logic. And so what's yesterday's logic? These are all going to look real familiar. What do we hear all the time? Hey, we're going to go shop the carriers, right? We're going to change the logo on your medical ID cards. That'll fix the problem. We haven't seen that fix the problem. We're going to increase deductibles. We're going to ask your employees to pay more in premiums. We're going to pass some of this cost on to your employees, right? Well, we already know, and we jump back, and we know that's a problem. They have less than $1,000 in the savings account today, right? And the other thing is, a little bit of this, and it goes back to the other slide, but, make sure you're working with a transparent broker. Know how your broker's getting paid. You should know how your broker's getting paid. In some arrangements, not all, but in some arrangements, as your premiums go up, your broker makes more money. I'm not saying all of them, just some of them. You just need to know how they're getting paid, okay? So I'm going to actually walk through a little case study. I'm going to start off with this expensive, frustrating, hopeless. That's how many feel about where they're at today. No matter what we do, insurance continues to get more expensive. We've been asking them to pay more. That's frustrating. We've been told there's nothing we can do. But imagine, I love that word, it's such a powerful word. Imagine how great it would feel knowing you've reduced your health insurance costs and put money back in your employees' wallets. Or imagine that you have a benefits package that is now a recruiting weapon, landing the best talent in the market. So how do you do that? So we walk through a step called, I love this, review, reduce, and reallocate. So first of all, you need to figure out where are we and what's our goals. Okay? You need to review where you're at today and define your goals. Then you're going to figure out, and we'll dive into this more, how to reduce costs, and then you're going to be able to reallocate those. So here's the actual case study. So a Midwestern manufacturer had a problem. I'm just going to read some of this off to you. In 2015, it was providing a fully insured health plan to its 82 employees. So some people, the argument we get, well, yeah, this only works, you can only do things for big companies, right? This is 82 employer group, life group. Insurance costs were rising at an unsustainable rate, and the employees continued seeing larger portions of each paycheck evaporate through increased premium contributions. By the end of 2015, the total cost had risen to over $11,000 per employee per year spend. So frustrated, the employer decided it was time for a change. So armed with new strategies and a new sense of hope, the manufacturer went to work developing a 3-year strategy we're going to talk about writing down a strategy. It's got to be written, in my opinion. The goal is to improve the health insurance coverage to the employees and reduce insurance costs. Over the course of the next 3 years, they've introduced these 3 strategies below incrementally. So it doesn't have to happen all overnight. So they move, So they moved from a fully insured plan to a partially self-funded arrangement to control claims. They incorporated a smartphone app and medical management to improve healthcare navigation. And they put in a pharmacy and surgery solution, helping their employees access prescription drugs and high-quality imaging and procedures done at no cost to the employees. So that's the 3 strategies they put in. Here's the results. So between 2016 and 2018, the manufacturer achieved a cumulative savings of $828,000. And instead of shifting costs to employees, the employer is now putting the money back in the paychecks and reallocating hard-earned dollars. So what's the financial impact of this manufacturer? So this manufacturer, when $828,000 left to spend, it goes directly to the company's bottom line, correct? This company operated on a 10% profit margin. Because their profit margin was 10%, that's an equivalent of an $8.3 million in sales by saving the $828,000 over the course of that 3 years. So these are real numbers, actual case study that we put together. But here's the thing. So it doesn't have to happen overnight. Some groups say, we're busy doing this, we have this going on, we don't have time for this. Okay, crawl. Implement things slowly, right? You don't have to do it all right away. Some groups walk, like Leonard over there. They do a little bit quicker pace, right? Some groups want to run. They want to implement everything they can right away, and they want to see the results of their work quicker. But you can crawl, walk, or run. It's always your choice. So what's the destination? The site's great. Some are fully insured, some are in different locations on the scale. And I got to tell you, you're probably going to stop in a different location on the scale. Every company's different. So this isn't everybody getting over here to direct contracting, I'll tell you that. So every company needs to find where they end up at the scale. So let's go from a fully insured plan to a fully insured plan with a health reimbursement account. So basically that just means you're going to raise up the deductible, but you're going to reimburse your employees for that increased deductible. The beauty of that is the claims you don't have are claims you don't pay for, right? So that's one step. Some people may end there. Some people move on to the next one, dividend eligible funding. It looks and feels like a fully insured plan. You get your premium at the beginning of the year. That's what your premium is for the whole year. On the back side, it's ran like a self-funding arrangement. So if you run really well, you get to share in the claims profits with the insurance company. So that might be another option too. Some groups look at coalitions and associations that have become bigger. With the last few years, Trump passed some things and it's becoming more and more popular with associations. But coalitions, the way those work is basically you're self-funding with other employers. So you're going in and you're sharing some of that risk with other employers. So you're self-funding with other employers. Some groups, they self-fund on their own. They're able to do that. And of course, some larger groups go out and direct contract. They just go out and negotiate prices on everything that happens for their employees. Walmart is ruling the world in that stuff now. So you all have a supply chain at your company. It's maybe a supply chain you didn't know you had, but it's a medical supply chain. Milliman says 96 cents of every dollar spent on claims goes to one of these 4 buckets, okay? So the way this was always done in the past, people go out and they shop the carriers, they find the logo they want on their card, they go out and negotiate all these things, and then it pours out on your employees, right? It comes out the other end and your employees get whatever the insurance carrier puts together. We believe there's a better way of starting with your employees, finding out what bucket we should focus in on, and then go out, create some strategies, and then go out and find the carriers that are willing to work with you those strategies. Build the plan backwards. So if prescriptions are an issue, let's find some prescriptions strategies that we can use, and let's build it backwards, and we'll take it and find the carriers that are willing to allow you to implement those strategies. So here, earlier I talked about the app, giving your employees access to an app that they can have in the palm of their hands. Let's face it, if it's not easy, they aren't going to do it, right? So this is our app, and I'm going to show you a video on it, but the key is to give them access on their phones, because they're all on their phones, I would guess the majority of them are, where they can look up prescriptions. We'll talk about one of those solutions in a second. They can look things up. They can do teledoc on there. They can actually put on their medical management where if healthcare happens to them, they have a nurse advocate they can call to help walk them through the system. You can even put on there where they can call and have somebody help them with their medical bills that they receive. That takes work off of your plate, right? And then they help review them and walk through them. So every time I talk about medical bills, I think of Adam in our office. His daughter had a circumcision on their bill. So, you know, it's good to walk through that, right? Yeah, who knows? So I'm going to show, and for some reason this video I can't play without doing it up here. So I'm going to show you, this is just ours at Messengers, but there's a lot of different apps out there that you can use, but this is just one of them. It just kind of explains how it works.
Let's face it, healthcare is confusing. And in today's world of ever-changing medical plans, HSAs, and deductibles, expecting employees to keep track of it all seems a bit unrealistic. Introducing the Benefits app from the Olsen Group. All of your benefits in one place. Finally, members and their families have convenient access to plan information and other services right in the palm of their hand. At the touch of a button, employees can now call a concierge 24 hours a day for help with a health plan and benefit questions, reviewing a medical bill, or even finding an in-network doctor, reducing HR burden while providing more convenient and faster access to needed information. Click on our Talk to a Doctor feature and save time and costly trips to the ER or urgent care. With the Benefit app, members are instantly connected to a licensed doctor via phone or video who can diagnose conditions and write prescriptions 24/7. And saving on prescriptions has never been easier. Simply tap the RX pricing button and quickly search local pharmacies for the best prices and access saving options for long-term prescriptions. If a member can't remember what their prescription copay is, they can easily tap the Plan Info button to see essential benefit plan information, all in a single location. And My Benefits lists other key benefits like broker contact info, life and long-term disability insurance, and even voluntary benefits like identity theft. Plus, there's safe storage for benefit ID cards too. Just take a photo of medical, dental, and vision cards, and they're right here in the Benefits app. The Benefits app by the Olsen Group empowers employees to be better consumers of healthcare, increases member engagement with essential programs, and helps to lower the employer's total healthcare spend. For more information,
So, we believe it's education. We talk about putting in steps and doing things, but we all know if they come in once a year to the benefits meeting, they don't hear anything. They walk out the door, they don't know anything we talked about, right? You have to put education in the palm of their hands and educate them about what they have in the palm of their hands. They're all on their phones anyway, so it just gives them another tool that they can use to help them walk through the system. So when we talk about medical management, it's finding the right care at the right time, at the right place, at the right price. So the example I love to use, I'm going to use an Omaha example, but in Omaha, Nebraska, you can get a knee replacement done for $30,000. You can get a knee replacement done for $70,000. It's the same knee replacement, just two different hospitals in Omaha, Nebraska. What's crazy, we've been taught as consumers that something more expensive is better, correct? healthcare is often an inverse relationship with that. So in Omaha, the $30,000 knee replacement has over 2 times the quality score as the $70,000 knee replacement. So now we're just like, we aren't talking just cheaper, it's better there, right? Imaging is another one. I'll use Omaha again, but you can get an MRI done for $500 or $4,000. It's the same MRI. Now, to not pick on hospitals, MRIs are MRI imaging centers. They're open 8 to 5. People walk in. Again, hospitals are open 24/7. They have to put in a car crash victim that can't move, right? So it's a little different scenario. I understand that a little bit. But if you're just walking in, go get the $500 MRI, right? So we talk to our employers in Omaha about. Find the right place to go. So outpatient, I have another video actually. This is one of our, he's not in Nebraska, but this is one of our partners that we talk to or visit with when we're out of the country, but he documented his experience for a hernia. So I'm going to share that with you.
Have you ever gone to a restaurant and saw no prices on the menu? If you did you order anything off that menu? Most people wouldn't take the risk of some ridiculously high-priced steak coming to them. But we do it in healthcare all the time. And afterwards, we get bills, stacks of bills, for tens and tens of thousands of dollars sometimes. My name is David Contorno, and I've been helping employers manage their healthcare costs for the last 20 years. What if we approached healthcare in a completely different way? What if we applied the same cost and quality metrics to healthcare that we apply everywhere else? Join me on my journey as I seek to find solutions to my own hernia and the surgical repair that my doctor told me I needed to get that fixed.
I decided to sort of make this experiment to say, okay, let me find out what it's like to go for that normal patient experience into the normal healthcare system. I'm going to call some places, and my main goal is to find out how often they do a hernia repair, how well they do it, and what the cost is. And you're going to go on this journey with me. Hi, my name is David Contorno, and my doctor diagnosed me with an inguinal hernia. Yeah, I am trying to get the price for doing an inguinal hernia repair. How may I help you? My doctor diagnosed me with an inguinal hernia. I just wanted to find out how often you guys do that type of repair, how well you do it, and how much it costs.
Tryout price is $40,780.
Okay.
50 days. $6,774.94. We're looking about $1,500.
$1,500?
I think the reason I took a bath is that she really didn't know me. I said, right, so we were just playing online. We don't really know.
Gotcha.
We just Googled it.
This is so ridiculously complex.
Your call is very important to us. Please hold.
Is it? New Jersey anesthesia first. This whole process is kind of archaic. Really, like, I want to get a price on the TV, and I called Best Buy, and they said, well, here's the TV price, but you got to call somewhere else to get the price on the remote control, and somewhere else to get the price on the electrical cable you need to plug it in. Do you agree?
So in my quest to find facilities that actively publish their pricing and quality data, I came across the Surgery Center of Oklahoma, which founded this movement in the early 90s. Watch what happens when I call them and ask the same questions.
Surgery Center of Oklahoma, this is Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany. My name is David Contorno, and I have an inguinal hernia on the right side of my groin that I need repaired. I want to get some ideas around cost, having that repaired at your facility.
Okay. And you said an inguinal hernia repair, our self-pay price for that procedure is $3,060. That includes the surgeon, facility, and anesthesiologist.
Oh, wow. I mean, we've been having to call all separate places to get that, so you already know what all those are going to be in advance?
Yes.
Hey, question. Who can I ask about, like, frequency and quality stuff there?
Marilyn, our director of nursing, might keep track of that. Do you want to try to get you over there to her?
Sure, if you don't mind.
Hi, David.
Hey,
This
Marilyn.
is Marilyn from the Surgery Center of Oklahoma. You called up wanting some staff.
Yes.
I think the three questions were if we've had any infections.
Yep.
And the answer is no.
Okay.
And a year. We did 313 hernia repairs.
Wow, that's impressive. Awesome.
Was there anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Marilyn. So I got some cash out at the ATM machine at the airport, and I'm now paying for my surgery in cash. I paid the $200 over at the doctor's office, which was part of his payment. Now I'm just arriving at the surgery center of Oklahoma. Gonna walk in and see what this intake experience is like, and see how it goes.
I think it's time the buyers of healthcare, they begin to very seriously question that big discounts off of billed charges make sense. This has been a disaster. As Dave Chase has said, it's possibly the biggest heist in the history of this country.
So just finished the surgery. I'm still a little groggy from the anesthesia, but everything seems to have gone well. I mean, high quality drugs they gave kept me out. After it was done, all in all, seems to have been a success. So I'm 4 weeks post-op, and I feel fantastic. I already went skiing 2 weeks ago. The experience was wonderful. The facility was super high quality. The nurses and the doctors and the staff were second to none. And so, what was different about this journey? How did this change fundamentally both the approach and the outcome from the standard experience? Well, I put healthcare first. I cared about cost and quality. I actually demanded it. And I didn't go to a place that couldn't give me those metrics. So I made sure that I was going to the highest quality, lowest cost facility that I could. So let's do the math. Well, I could have gone to the $47,000 place. And I have a $12,000 deductible and out-of-pocket on my family high-deductible health plan. So I would have owed the $12,000. My health plan would have paid $35,000 on top of that. And maybe I would have had the same outcome, maybe I wouldn't. But instead, by putting healthcare first, I paid $3,060, add in travel and hotels, and I'm still under $4,000. And here I am sitting before you, 100% recovered, and ready to do this the next time I need to encounter our healthcare system. So join me on this revolution, one in which we put healthcare first, and see how it changes your financial and your physical future.
So I think we did a great job. I think, hopefully I never had any incidents. I need to go to the doctor, but I think I'll video it because it's pretty cool, his whole experience that he went through and how he put healthcare first. So pharmacy is obviously a huge area of spend. This is just one example I love to throw out there. So Duex is a combination of Pepcid and Advil, is what it is. You can buy Pepcid and Advil for $20 or $25 a month. This one sold for $24.50 a month. It's maybe a little bit different in there, but it wasn't any great new invention is what it is. But here's how it's sold to employees. You have to take one pill now too. That's how it's sold to employees. And so pharmacy is a huge, huge spend. Has anyone heard of the GoodRx app? If you don't have it on your phone, download it, use it. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. I went and picked up a prescription last week at Hy-Vee. The Hy-Vee close to me there in Omaha. It was $36 with my insurance. I presented the GoodRx app on my phone. It cost me $11. That was it. That was easy. So that's an easy one. Your employees should all have a GoodRx app on their phone. It helps them. That saved me $25 for doing nothing other than downloading the free app, which my kids load 50 apps a day on my phone, I think. So, and so with pharmacy, it's another way to look at it is see if there's a different way that you can buy your drugs. We're never talking denying drugs. We're never talking about changing the drugs, but see if there's a different way. So we use a program, we were able to drop ship some of these drugs. This is an actual group that we looked at. So I'm just going to use Latuda. People know what that is. So they were using about 404 pills a year. Their pharmacy benefit manager cost was $43. We were able to get it to their employees for $35 and $8 a pill. Savings, that ends up being $14,000 savings just by drop shipping that to those employees. So It was a little bit different way to buy the drug than the traditional way, but I ended up saying this was a self-funded group, so that was the significant money for that group. It's just looking to see if there's a different way to buy it. So I know I'm kind of running low on time, so I'll try to tie this together pretty quick. So we trademarked ours as a benefit edge. Remember way back when we talked about review, reduce, reallocate? It needs to be in a written plan. So we use our benefit edge, we call it whatever you want, but it needs to be a written, documented strategy within your organization of these are the steps that we're going to do. First of all, we're going to review where we're at and get our goals, right? Then you're going to look at where's some spend, where's some low-hanging fruit that maybe we can grab first, start there, right? And we're going to implement that, and then we're going to see what we're going to do with those savings that comes about. But steps 1, 2, and 3 in our process are the review. Roxy's step 3, obviously, the compliance assessment. But that's reviewing where we're at. And then we're going to look at the plan performance and reducing. Where can we reduce? And then we're going to monitor that and see how it does. And then we come back in and go, okay, what's our final step? Member satisfaction. But then you start over and do it again, right? Because then where else can we focus in on? Remember how I said some groups crawl, some groups walk, some groups run, right? It just depends on your organization as to where you want to be. And the key is following through. And that's why we believe it needs to be written, documented strategy. With you and your consultant that you're using for your health insurance, you need to work together and say, this is what we're going to do. And here's the reality of it. I believe this. I really believe this. Change isn't coming from the carriers. Change isn't coming from the government. They try to do some things, but let's face it, if they could change it, they would have changed it by now. I think change comes from people like you that are working with your employees and helping your employees walk through the system. I really believe that. That's where change starts. If you're going to wait around for the government to change it, it ain't going to happen. If you're going to wait around for the carriers to change it, it ain't going to happen. It's got to start with people that care about families and want to work with those families. So stop accepting the status quo. We're going to change the logo on your ID card and make everything better forever. It's not going to happen. And then implement strategies, find someone to work with. I have a confession to make. I used to think that would work too, actually. Oh man, if I went from this carrier to this carrier, I'm going to save a bunch of money, right? And maybe I'll save money this year, but man, I'm going to save money forever. I'm going to shop the carriers every year. It doesn't work. We know that, right? When you guys get into business, you guys know it's a cycle. It just keeps coming around, right? So I say don't settle for what others tell you is possible. Strive for what some say is impossible. I love Ross' quote. I think it's so true. And just to kind of sum everything up as I'm winding down on time, I couldn't say it any better. This guy's my favorite American philosopher, and you guys all know who he is.
The light can change. Я думаю, что каждый может. And you can change. Вы можете измениться. Everybody can change. Everybody can change.
So, any questions? If you don't want to ask it out loud, we'll be hanging around for a while, so you can ask any of us. Roxy, do we have anything to add? Anything to add, you're sure welcome to. That's all I have. Now the second here. I got 5 minutes. Who has the first question? Maybe I'll restate it, but remember I'll start calling on you. Here's a common question I would get at the end of this type of presentation, which is, where do we start? Where do we start? You want me to give you the first, easiest thing to start? Give everyone to get RX app. It's free. Now try it. Okay? That's easy.
So Travis, can you still use the GoodRx app with prescription insurance, or, like our healthcare coverage has a prescription plan as well? I didn't think you could use that.
Where are you picking it up at? At a pharmacy?
Right.
At a pharmacy? Right.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, we have a
Because, and the only
prescription
reason I, just last night saw the commercials for the GoodRx app, and then in the tiny little letters it said something about not how it was worded, that like, if you already had insurance, you can't use it.
I mean, I have insurance, I have pretty good insurance at the old store, and it knocked off $25 a
Okay,
spend,
yeah,
so.
I would definitely go back.
I mean, it's,
Staff,
you know what,
download it and try it.
here's the worst case scenario, they walk in the pharmacy,
And it
they
doesn't
show them their
work.
phone, and it doesn't work. I
Right.
mean, they're not out,
Okay.
they didn't spend any money.
Sure.
on it.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's worth a
Okay.
shot.
Thank you.
But that's, and those are changes, that's a place to start. So I already answered, and I asked and answered the first question. And we have a second question. Who has the third question?
He has a goal.
Nobody? It was that good?
Well, my
Let's see
question
reviews. Yes.
What HR person or employer is comfortable getting that person with their employees' health issues to be able to work with them on prescriptions and things like that on a hands-on.
That's a great question. Are you, so I don't know that you would want to do that, right? So you would want to work with,
My customers, I don't think my
I think-
customers would want to get that hands-on with the retailer or
So-
their customer, or
their employees. Yeah, no, I get it. So
survey.
find a consultant, right? So it's amazing what employees will share with us or our nurse advocates on the phone that they won't share with you, or they shouldn't share.
And
You don't want to know.
And then that information doesn't come back to you. And you want to do overall education, not necessarily specific education, but you want to give good examples of how they can use, like for instance, GoodRx, or, you know, the knee surgery example of, you know, being that good consumer and doing that overall education.
I can speak for our group, so we've got an office of about 27 employees. I don't want to know individually what's going on. I think everybody feels so paternalistic about that. But I do want to know at a group level what we have going on. And so a lot of these reports, like, we implement a lot of these strategies on ourselves. Even though we're that small, we try to implement what we can and educate our staff. So that when we call the nurse, all I get is a condensed report that shows this is what's happening in my group. And to work then and say, okay, if I know this is happening, here are some strategies I can put in place.
So how do you deal with like compliance issues?
I just call Roxy.
Roxy, how do you deal with Well, I know that they haven't implemented a lot with ACA, but I mean, there were still, you had to provide a certain level of coverage for a certain price based on your, what pay level that they were at. Right. It would be over so much, and that's something that somewhere else was doing. And I don't have to deal with benefits as much, so I'm talking from probably 5 years ago, but, you know, there are still some of those.
You would still meet all those requirements.
Pieces with that, and so coming at it from a different, what's kind of nice about having a carrier or something of that nature is that they tell you that.
Yeah, your plan design can still meet those, all those qualifications. You're just really using it on the back end for the employees to make better decisions. That you're approaching it backwards.
More on use than on use.
You know a couple of years ago, this is what comes to mind. A couple of years ago, it was really, really big for everybody to do a lot of education on go to the urgent care versus the ER. Very, very similar, right? It's just go to the right doctor for the right things. Go to the right imaging place for the right things. Pay appropriately. You're not going to go, I mean, if you saw a dress at one shop and it was $1,000, and you saw the same dress across the street for $5,000, aren't you going to go over and get the one for $1,000?
It's the same.
It's the same thing.
It's not a different quality.
And it's the same concept.
That's
It's just working backwards to educate your employees to be a better consumer.
How can you stop hospitals from doing that? So that's the consumers.
How can that's a good question?
I think it's education. I mean, to me, it's education. It's all about education. So I have this little unfair standards, and I'm way too much time to send this kid. I had these moles, and I have them removed. And before I did so, I knew enough to know, like, okay, I have to call this nurse advocate and say, where do I go? Because what happens is, they want to send you the bill before I even know if I've got cancer or not. And it's like, they won't get paid before they even tell me the diagnosis. And so you've got to work with like a nurse advocate. So we're fully insured. We're a small group, so we're still fully insured. But we implemented this nurse advocate so that our employees, that's kind of going back, you want to take care of your employees. Our employees don't have to, deal with high medical bills. And overall, that'll drive down our costs eventually. But in the meantime, it's about education and kind of empowering your employees to educate themselves.
And it's still quality, right? Quality is still a big piece of that, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's quality because it's readmissions. So, and just to jump to back to my Omaha knee replacement, if I just showed you the two quality scores of those two hospitals I use, I would still go to the highest quality score hospital, right? But they're less than half the price. Isn't that crazy?
I was gonna say, we have the advantage, we have one local hospital. We have no competition, so, I don't know how we control that. We have community MRI, but we can send.
Yeah, so hey, there's one example.
An MRI, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
And
those are
so,
things we educate our
I think
folks on, but.
Pharmacy's probably the lower hanging fruit. I think there's some solutions there that
I understand. I get it from around Nebraska, right? There's nobody there, right? So I totally get what you're saying from that standpoint. But I think pharmacy is really the low hanging fruit. And let's face it, there's different doctors in town. Let's find the better quality doctors that are not getting the readmissions as well.
Well, one thing we've also steered away from or really tried to educate is the ER versus urgent
Yeah,
care as well, so.
Yeah, that was a really big thing a couple years ago.
And you're in the hospital here's great. It's not bad. It's a good hospital. It's not bad. But let's find more on the individual basis. Maybe that's a better.
Maybe. We've heard stories where maybe you go to the Cayman Islands for surgery and your employer pays for it because it's less and better quality. Smart.
And we have a high Hispanic population, and they do actually take their vacation and have those services in Mexico and Mexico. Because it is so expensive.
It is so expensive. It's crazy.
Anyway, I can go all day about it.
They will be here, but I want to be sensitive to
Yes.
timing and people getting back. So please flow the evaluations, and since I'm hitting them, you can do some comments.
Tell me they were all awesome.
Yeah. Let's thank Travis.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, so fun.